Camera number 418 is the Petri FT, a product of the mid-1960s. It's an all-mechanical, quite a substantial camera. It weighs about 2 pounds, approaching 1 kilogram. Metal is very evident in the construction of the camera. As I mentioned, it's a fully mechanical manual camera requiring a battery only to power the meter which is through the lens. So let's just do that, put a battery into the camera. We unscrew the battery compartment which is housed here in the front, and then we can see the PX625, which is a 1.3 volt battery, and then we place that negative with the positive terminal sticking out, and then we can screw the battery cover back on. And then hopefully we will now have a meter that works. But the camera can be used in fully manual mode. All we need to do is have a light meter or use the Sunny 16 rule, and then we can manually input the shutter speeds and the aperture into the camera. The Petri FT has the Petri bayonet mount, and so to take the lens off we have to rotate anti-clockwise the barrel there, and then that releases the lens. I only have two lenses for this camera, the Petri f2 55mm and the 35mm f2.8, so I look forward to using those during the course of my going out with the camera. So while we've got the lens off, we can look through the front of the camera here. We have a flash synchronization terminal there, and then we have our stop down lever which also activates the light meter. We have our shutter button, and then we have our self timer. Let's just activate the self timer by rotating it and then advancing the film. Now this particular model has a very stiff film advance, so I'm hoping that will be okay. And then to activate the self timer we press the button, and that will count down to approximately 8 to 10 seconds. And quite a clack with the mirror moving up out of the way. Let's put the lens back on, which we do by lining up the two red dots there and there, and then rotating the collar, and then we've locked the lens on. Looking to the top plate now, we have, as I mentioned, our film advance, which is very stiff, our film counter, which will count up, our shutter dial, and our shutter speeds go from 1 second, including bulb, right the way up to 1/500th of a second. And you'll notice the flash synchronization speed is 1/60th of a second. We then have a cold shoe, and then to calibrate our light meter we have our film speed dial here, which goes from 1600 all the way down to 25. I'll be using 400, so I've set the 400 to the marker there. And then we have our film rewind lever. To put film in the camera, we simply undo the door mechanism, and then we can pop our film in there. We have a cloth shutter, and then when we put our film canister, we make sure that we put the film in and that the sprockets are engaged with that. And then we can close the back, and then we can advance the film and take our images. So how do we take our images? Well, we can use our light meter by activating them with the stop down lever, and as suggested, it actually stops down the aperture both in auto and manual modes. So when you look through the viewfinder, the screen will go dark, particularly as we approach f16, and obviously will go lighter as we go through up to f2. So looking through the viewfinder, some circles in the viewfinder will help us to focus, and the metering system is of the matched needle, if you like. It has an eyelet, and the meter needle will go down as we alter the aperture or shutter speed, And the idea is that we put the needle right into the middle of the eyelet, and then we should be good in terms of exposure. So the difference in auto and manual mode is that normally in auto mode, which there's a lever here that rotates it to auto, the aperture will stay open unless of course we press the light meter. If it's in manual mode, the aperture will stop down as we rotate the aperture dial. I don't know that you can I demonstrate that? Let's see if we can do that. Yes, can you see that? So the aperture, so that's in manual mode, and then in auto mode the aperture stays open, and it's only when we press the metering that it actually opens and closes. So that's the difference there. Hope that's clear. There we go, really. That's pretty much all the features of the Petri FT. Looking forward to going out with it. I quite like these all-metal cameras, particularly manual cameras. I'm not sure how accurate the light meter is. We'll find out as we go through and go out and take some photographs. So let's do that, shall we? But in the meantime, this is the Petri FT, camera number 418.